Hi everybody, it's Julia here and I have a new process video to share with you today. This time I was really inspired. I got a paper pack from Felicity Jane, well a few, but one was the Heidi paper pack and it's such beautiful colors that I really want to start working with all the patterns at once, which is a bit troublesome. So I decided I was going to take all of those really pretty branding strips, because on the B side of those you have really pretty patterns. So I decided to do a layout with them as a focus. So I cut them all off, and the first thing I'm going to do to this page is tack them down. So I'm sitting here and I have such a clear and really brilliant plan, if you ask me. If you ask me then anyway, what I wanted to do. So I start by tacking them down. This is a very removable adhesive, so it's not permanent in any way. So I have sort of an idea of how I want them. And I'm thinking I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to take out my sewing machine that I haven't used in a very good long while, and I'm going to just take some white thread and then stitch down the center of all of the strips, and I thought that would be really fun. Have the color and then some texture with the thread, and I was really happy with this page when I was starting with it. So I'm doing this and I'm realizing I need some more strips. I'm just going to take some of the pattern papers and cut some strips off of that. And you can see these papers are so pretty. I mean, come on. Yeah, I had to play with them. um, so I'm going to cut 3 more strips. So anyway, the plan, it was a thought out plan. I knew what I was doing and everything like that, you know? And it turns out the reason why I haven't used my sewing machine in forever is because it's stupid. Well, it's not really, you know, but it doesn't work. Sometimes it works, but most of the time the thread breaks. So I don't know, I've been fiddling with the tension and I've been rethreading it and everything. So I don't know what the issue with it, but obviously it has some issues. So in the end, I just I started sewing, and if you look at the close-up, the one with the white thread is the sewing machine, and I mean, yeah, it almost ripped the page to bits. I did manage to save it, but yeah, it was not very fun. So, but before that, I'm going to mat my photo, and I decided to mat it on this really fun black and white paper. And I'm going to position it so I have a frame around my photo that looks the same on all of the sides. And yeah, I really like this paper. I don't know what I would do with it, what I will do with it next, but I think it's such a fun, cool page. And the backside is really pretty too, so it's a bit hard. But I have to say the cardstock in the collection, or the single-sided or the single-colored papers, are really pretty. And I love this blue color, yeah. So I'm going to add just a really thin border around my photo, so it will be quite a minimalistic page, a very simple page. So I have it here, and I'm really happy with this. I'm not adding too much layering, and because my photo is pretty dark, I didn't feel like I needed to do that either. So I got the little cards for this collection too, and I'm going to use the one with the label, and I'm going to add my sort of quote-unquote title and my journaling on that. Yeah, I say quote-unquote because it sort of changes later on. You know how it is. I'm also going to use a stamp set with this page, and it is the stamp set called Jane. So this stamp set is the one I got when they were 30% off, and a few weeks ago I ordered the paper packs from Heidi and Mila. Yeah, so I'm really happy with it. I got a really good deal on shipping, so that's why I did it. But what I really like about this page is that I used the branding strips, which I mean I really like, but sometimes I just toss them because I don't know what to do with them. So now when starting with that, I really like how that looks. And then for embellishments, I'm using mostly just stamps, and I really like this page, how it came out. It looks sort of very intentional, and I like that. I'm going to add half a doily just to add a bit more interest to the page, and I cannot do without them. I think they're so, so cute. But yeah, okay, so back to the sewing thing. So yeah, I got a few lines, but then my machine just didn't work, and I think you can see it a bit here. So I've added stitching on all of the papers, on all of the strips, in different quantities. So on the blue one to the far right, you can see there's a white sewing, and then they're just different. So, but then I have some gold thread on my desk, and it's really easy to sew with, and so I decided just to go ahead and use that and stitch down all of them, because the glue that I had used wasn't enough, and I really wanted the stitching, the texture of it. So it took a long time to do it, but I'm really happy I did it. I think it looks really great, and you will see better on the close-ups because the light here is not that great. I added my journaling on the little card that I stamped on, and now I just want to add a bit of thing in the background, so I'm going to add some gold Heidi Shine mist in gold, duh. And I'm just going to add it on diagonal, so from the top left to the bottom right. So I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to wait for this to dry, because who has time for that? I mean, yeah. So yeah, you get see a bit of a better. What I also did with the stitching, worth mentioning, is that I did it differently. So I have some zigzag on one, I have just plain sewing on one, I follow the paper design on somebody else. So yeah, I really like how it looks. But yeah, I would have preferred my sewing machine to work, but I don't know how to fix it. So while that is drying, sort of, I want to add some more stamping, and I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add Doing My Best, and I'm using Smoky Gray VersaFine ink because I wanted the stamp to be clear and you wanted to read, but I didn't want them to be too heavy, so I'm not using the black one. Then I'm going to add Remember This, and the stamp is blue because I stamped it with StazOn ink, and then I didn't have the StazOn ink remover, so it's blue. And then the other one, I think it's Breathe. So I'm just going to sort of nestle them together in a little group. And then I do have one element that is stamped in black, and that's on the card, and I'm going to add the same black element down to that cluster later with my date stamp. So now I'm just going to put them on the page, because in my mind I'm done. Obviously not, because the video is quite a bit longer, so what happens? Exciting, isn't it? Yes. So here I decide I want to add something more, and I bring out some wood veneer, and I love these tiny stars. I don't use them far enough. I mean, I love these, but hardly ever use them. I think it's really hard mixing hearts and stars. I think there is sort of the issue or the problem, but here I didn't have any hearts, so I just used the stars. I really love them. I think they're so, so pretty. So here I decide, like, I'm done. I'm finished. I like how this looks. I'm going to just add the last stamp. And like I said, I'm going to use that in the Onyx black ink, the same one as the Determined. So I have some black down there, and I'm like, yeah, I really like this. Yeah. And then I'm like, well, maybe I should add just something else. So then, so then I started looking at the other cards. They are so pretty, and I see this one. Find the beauty in your journey. And I really like the text. I really like that it has that blue in it because it's one of my favorite colors. So I decided to try to incorporate it. And so I'm lifting that up and I'm thinking placing them sort of on top of each other, but I think that sort of covers too much of the strips, and in the end I decided to do it like this. You need to test it before, right? I'm really happy I did. I really like how this one turned. Oh no, I really like how it turned out. Yeah, because the card is white and it has some text, but it's not very heavy, and it's not all black because they have the blue and then sort of scripty font on the word beauty. I think it's sort of light anyway, and yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to fiddle a bit with the stars, and then I'm going to tape this one down. I'm going to add some staples too to add some texture. I'm going to do that to this card and then to the photo, just to have some repeat elements. But yeah, that is it. I promise. I'm really happy with this. I really like how it turned out with all the colors. I like how it has some texture, and I really like, most of all, is actually how little stuff I actually used. So here you can see a bit closer on the different stitching elements that I have. I'm really happy with it, like I've said a million times. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a really great day.